shows are individually owned and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Welcome to the Edventures in Tech podcast, talking the latest tips and trends in educational technology to innovate and engage your students. Here are your hosts, Andrew and Dan.
Back at it. This is episode 58 of the Adventures in Tech podcast. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Dan.
We're excited you've joined us on this venture once again, live at NYSCATE 2024. We are at the Turning Stone Resort and Casino, obviously at the Bloom booth. Big thankful to Bloom for kind of just giving us a whole space to just not stop talking really for like 3 days, which is typical.
It's been a lot of talking.
But big thanks to Joel, Omar, Joe, the whole crew here at Bloom. For all your needs, definitely reach out to them for all ed tech solutions. And we are here to talk about more products and more space with two rookies on the show. Right, we're gonna have two rookies to talk about different kind of ed tech solutions. We have Calli from Luxor, right?
Yep.
Welcome to the show. And we have Kerry from Liberty. Too many letters. Kerry, Calli, I'm going to lose it. So welcome to the show,
Welcome.
All right, so first, before we get into your solutions and how you guys are here helping and representing Bloom, specifically, I would love to hear your impressions because you are rookies to the NYSCATE conference. And I know I didn't see Calli much yesterday, I don't think, right? I think she was too busy watching the Packers because she told us she's from Wisconsin and she had her cheese head on. No, I'm just kidding. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. It's very fun. I've never seen a podcasting booth at a trade show before, so I think that's already pretty impressive.
Nice.
Yeah.
We try. Thanks to Bloom. They give us the space. They share it. We are. It's been third year now. Third year doing it with Bloom, so it's been great. It's been a big draw. So very, very enlightening with that. Kerry, what do you think?
I think it's a pretty cool event right now.
Yeah?
So, yeah. I'm from Florida, so it's a little cold up here.
Oh, where about in Florida?
That's a dream place to be.
Yeah.
Daytona Beach area.
Oh, nice.
Little New Smyrna Beach.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's you're not used to the cold at all. You're lucky there's not like 10 inches of snow outside. I mean, you're used to it in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Florida, nope, definitely not.
So we might run into you at FETC.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be there.
Yeah,
We'll
come
be
on
there.
down to Orlando. January, it's a good time to be there.
That's when we're going. We were very excited. Are you going too?
I'll be there.
Uh-oh.
With Bloom?
Yeah, reunion.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, let's do it.
We got to get a space now for our I don't know how we're going to ship this or carry it. I'm going to find a way. Maybe I can put everything on a battery power pack, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But
I love that thing.
no, you have no idea. I'm using this thing left and right, and I feel like a Ghostbuster. Channeling my inner Slimer as we speak. All right, so, Calli, let's start with you. Let's talk about Luxor and a little bit about the products that that you offer for EdTech solutions for educational spaces.
Sure. So we are an education furniture company primarily. Been in business a long time, since the 50s. And right now, what we're focusing on and how we fit into this space is really functional furniture that can move with the classroom. So if you have modules or you're at a lab space for a little bit, you need a spot to teach for 20 minutes before you go into a unit, we supply that really functional furniture that can quickly be moved around and change the room. And then to support the technology, we have a lot of charging solutions, one of which is the Ghostbuster battery, as you've
Hold
been
on, I got to reach
referencing.
up and get it. Who you going to call? I'm using it as we speak. I love this. It's not heavy.
It's not heavy, but it is a substantial battery.
But it won't power my fridge,
It
right?
won't power a fridge.
We were talking off air. That's why it's a joke.
It is designed really for the education space, and in layman's terms, it'll charge 2 Chromebooks, 0 to full, 4 tablets, 16 phones, and it's meant for the student to use all day because they use their laptops all day.
Fair.
Right? They can't be locked away anymore. And at the age of most buildings,
Well,
we're right by Chicago Public Schools, right? And the average age of their building is 75 years old.
Yeah.
There aren't enough outlets, and the billions of dollars they're facing as an example of infrastructure updates to make the classrooms functional is a big challenge. So this is a way to give them a few more years, get through some tough funding years with a different solution until the time comes where buildings can be updated.
I was just thinking that same thought when I was looking at that. I remember my classroom, so when I was teaching middle school, I was teaching in a building that was part of the New Deal, built during the Depression.
Okay.
I can't tell you how many times I blew a circuit by
Yeah.
plugging into just 2 outlets.
Yeah.
That solution here that I'm looking at is great for those situations. All our classrooms have a need for power.
I think I would keep this in my backpack.
Well,
Can you fly it on an airplane, or you have to
No.
put it under?
You have to put it under. Yeah.
All right, that's what I figured.
So it is a substantial battery, but I mean, it's meant to be so that it really
Right.
can be used by multiple students. And the real beauty of it is that battery, I know everyone can't see it, but it pops,
we'll post a picture.
Okay, it pops out of that case, and there's another battery. So we get the question a lot of how long does a battery last, and really it doesn't matter, because the whole design is that you have extra ones that are charging, and if that one runs out of battery and you still need power, you just swap it for a fresh one and you keep going.
This is going to trap my ghosts in my
Yeah.
hotel room, right?
Yeah, it is.
If you can imagine, remember they trapped the ghosts with the Ghostbusters? That's exactly what it is. But it's easy, it's comfortable, it's light.
Yep.
I like it. The how long does it typically take to charge the battery itself?
2 hours.
2 hours for a full charge.
For a full charge.
And then it'll do all that other equipment that you mentioned. I like that it's got a regular plug, it's got a USB-C, and obviously a USB regular
Yep.
USB-A plug. So definitely versatile and future-proof at the same time.
Definitely.
All right, so here's the question. I know we can get them from Bloom. What's typically like I know costs are always varied. What does they usually cost? Like 4-pack, 6-pack, single pack? What do they come in?
Yeah, good question. So we try to sell it in bundles to help a user understand, are a couple students using it? Is a whole classroom using it? How many do you need, kind of thing. And it ranges MSRP from about $1,200 all the way up to $12,000 if you're trying to outfit 30 students on a one-to-one basis. So pretty big range, which means we can help fit a lot of different budget aspirations as well.
There's a lot in here.
There
Go ahead,
is.
Dan.
I know you're really fascinated by the power.
I am. I'm
mean,
all about the power. I've
you
got
are.
the power. Where's the music?
If anyone knows them, you know why. But the one thing I'm looking at is you're also talking about furniture.
Yeah.
One of the things that we talk about and we work with in the classroom is redesigning learning and creating more inclusive and differentiated learning environments, which really stresses the need for flexible classroom and flexible seating. So what types of solutions do you guys offer for that?
Yeah, all sorts. So we were very early on the sit-stand era of furniture, so we have a lot of student furniture that's height adjustable. And again, anyone who hears this, they can't see me, but I'm 6'1". I've been 6'1" a long time, and traditional desks, I didn't fit in them in 7th grade, let alone now. And so having that flexibility is really important, and giving the teachers the flexibility to rearrange their classroom really quickly to support group work or some sort of distance learning. Kids are out of classroom trying to learn at home. To be able to really redefine their space really quickly and easily, it's really important to a lot of teachers right now.
I'm excited about something. Sorry, and I'm listening to you and talk about the side track portable
Absolutely.
monitor.
Absolutely, I
Because
would love
I need
to.
more screen time.
Yes.
And power.
So we do also make sidetrack screens, which are second screens for your laptop.
I love it.
And the coolest part about ours, the part we designed, launched, patented, all the above, is that there is a magnetic plate, and it actually magnets to the back of your laptop, so it'll keep the angle. So if you imagine, even working on your couch, you can have
Two screens.
You could have 3 screens if you want.
Go big or go home, baby. Here we go.
Now that you got the battery and more screens.
Yes.
Product ID
Yes.
LTTL132. Just
Yeah,
saying.
and
I'm on
it is pretty transformative to the life of someone who's on a laptop all day, because the amount of time you toggle or split screen. Again, you think of students that they have to look at their curriculum on their laptop, they have to answer questions on the laptop, they might have to be on Teams if there's distance learning involved. They're toggling constantly on pretty small screens. So that extra screen really, really changes the game for a student daily life. Not to mention a teacher who has to stream all day for distance learning and educate from a primary screen. And personally, I can tell you, I am far more productive on the road than I've ever been because I don't leave that second screen behind. There were things I used to say, I'll work on that when I get back to the office, right?
Because of
when
the
I
two
have my whole
screens,
fleet.
right?
Yes.
Right.
And now I can do that work anywhere, which has made my life a lot easier.
Company perk.
That's
Company
it.
perk.
I'm
Right.
wishing I can push to a second screen right now.
That's right. That's right.
So a question about that.
Yeah.
So they can magnetic. They're on both. Like if you have the 3-way,
Yep.
right? So you're almost looking probably about 40 inches with the 3, right?
Yep.
Give or take.
Yeah, don't use it on an airplane.
Yeah, I was
Neighbor
gonna
will be
say
mad.
that tray
That's
table's
rude.
not gonna hold that. Unless I'm sitting next to Dan, I'll just push him out of the way.
Wow.
But
That's par for the course.
but all right. So you have one.
Yep.
Is it just USB-C powered?
Yep.
Is that how it is? So
Yep.
it's as simple as that.
Yep.
And the resolution is probably what is it, 480? Do they come in varied
They come
resolutions?
in very ones. Yep, we have a couple, some that are meant to be more low cost, more education,
Sure.
Chromebook friendly, and some that are really high definition. We have multiple sizes, 13 all the way, or 11 all the way up to a 17-inch, screen. So there's really a lot of options. Touch screen, all sorts of
Ooh.
stuff.
But now, so touchscreen, does it your regular laptop doesn't have to be a touchscreen.
Correct. But the second screen can be. Yep.
All right. So, like, what's the cost range for? Just, I mean, we'll do the 1 and the 2, but
Yeah.
I think most schools, because the desks aren't that big either,
Right.
for students, I think the space would make sure that it's just a one portable monitor.
Yep, totally agree. And those range depending on the model. They start around the $279, $249, $279.
That's it?
For one. Yep. All the way up to, if you're buying multiples, you'll get into the $600
Yeah,
range.
we'll call Bloom.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
don't put it in your cart yet.
No, not yet. I'm on the webpage. It's all right. Can we demo one?
We
do
don't
demos?
have one here.
Oh,
I
but can
know.
you ship one?
Shocking. Yes,
And I can give it back to you in
absolutely.
January.
Well, yes.
That works?
Yeah.
All right, sign me up. I'm in. I'm going to tap out. No, I'm
we
just
would
kidding.
love to. No, we'd love to send one your
I
way,
would love to try
absolutely.
that. That's great. I'm all right. I'm going to stop talking. Go ahead, Dan.
No, I thank you for stopping to talk. But looking here, we're talking about all the solutions you have, but
Yep.
I'm seeing our other guest here kind of connects with you in a really way of providing solutions. So you want to talk about Liberty, and I see like the big thing right on your website, Liberty AV over IP. So can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so AV over IP, that's definitely changing the way that a lot of people are communicating now. So, a lot of environments, a lot of classrooms, starting to move into that flex classroom, as Calli mentioned. Really figuring out how do we get, content from teachers, station or desk or podium or whatever, over to wherever they need it to go. Sometimes I look at, kind of the 3 keys of Liberty are really, the connectivity within, simple runs, right? But the AV over IP is changing things, being able to get a lot more content to a lot more spaces. So we're seeing a lot of that used in digital signage. We're seeing a lot of it used airports and a lot of other spaces as well. But in education specifically, I mean, it's critical in some of those larger classrooms and really just making the power work.
Well, that's great. So can you give us an example of some of the products and some of the things that you offer?
Yeah, so kind of like Calli, we've got a huge portfolio. So we do everything. We're kind of our 30-year history of Liberty wire and cable. Again, HDMI cables, wall plates, all kinds of different things. We got about 100 different ways for you to connect, a device to a display. And make all that magic happen, And some of the cool things that we've been doing, like USB extension, because I know trying to get USB from the back of a room to, the front is very difficult. So we can do that pretty easily, seamlessly. And then we also have a really cool, remote remediation and monitoring software that you can see every IP thing on your network in one single pane of glass. So while, a lot of these environments, especially as a result of COVID, a lot of companies or a lot of schools were required to just kind of buy what they could, what could they find, right? So they might have been standardized on one brand, but due to availability or whatever, they've had to kind of create a hodgepodge environment, a little more flexible environment, right? So this solution actually really helps them to keep an eye on what's going on. So.
I'm still looking at all the products on the webpage. There's a lot on Liberty.
There
I'm
is.
looking at collaboration technology. That was. Can you explain what huddle room technologies are?
Yeah, so, a lot of huddle rooms are popping up. They've been very popular in corporate for a long time, colleges, but we're starting to see them in K-12, especially in the library spaces, where some of them are starting to kind of merge some of their books and, move those, and then now they're creating these little huddle spaces. So you've got 4 or 5 students that are working on special group projects, for example, and so then they can, pop that up. We're also seeing the huddle spaces in large spaces, like, if you have a big ballroom or something, maybe you'll have like 18 different huddle spaces, and then they can, with AV over IP specifically, you can have a different unit at those different huddle spaces and then easily project that onto the front where you need that content to see. So, you see that content.
Wow, there's a lot on here. I'm enamored by a lot of it.
Yeah, and I'll make things even more interesting. We're part of Wesco Distribution, which is a Fortune 200 company, little $22 billion company with about 200,000 employees. And we have one mission: to build, connect, power, and protect your planet, right? So wherever your infrastructure is, whether it's building infrastructure, data center infrastructure, or in my side, the Liberty AV infrastructure, we basically make things work.
So, question: you're obviously here with Bloom as a partner.
Yeah.
What is the big product that you see Bloom able to connect you with the educational spaces? Like, what are the most popular items from Liberty?
So they're working with a lot of our basic wall plates and kind of what we call the simple connectivity solutions for the classrooms, but really
plug and play, right?
Yep, really starting into the AV over IP space as well. You know, one of the big things that I've learned since I've been at Liberty is a USB-C cable. There's a big difference in simple USB-C cables you might buy at the gas station to actually a data and a power USB-C cable. So there's a lot of variation. So really helping to educate the educators as well on what is going to actually work and why certain cables work in different ways.
I think that's a key component. I'm sorry, Dan. I just want to say, you go on Amazon because that's where everybody usually shops, and you see a USB-C to USB-C, and it's like $4.99, whatever. It's got 3.5, 4-star reviews, right? But it's from the company VGRQ. I don't know who that is, right? And it's probably like the most low-level quality, period. And you wonder why either A, it shorts out, or it catches on fire within like 2 days.
Yep.
Right. I'm just thinking of every time we walk into a classroom and people are saying things are not working, and that's because they've decided to move something and trying to connect a large USB cable across the room, and nothing works.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Plug and play would be great, wall plates. But that goes back to what Calli, you're concerned about with Chicago Public Schools. A lot of schools are not modernized yet, right? I mean, in budgets, constrained. Some are, but a lot aren't. And they just don't either have the power, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the funding to update it. That wiring is probably original from 110 or, 75 years, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years, it's still antiquated and out of date. That's a huge component when we think about things.
I think about it, and the one thing I'm getting out of this conversation, which I think is valuable to people that we're working with, it's like, all right, we're looking here at this EdTech conference, and people might look at your booth, but when we're looking at the physical spaces of our classrooms, realizing that the physical spaces of our classroom does not define the learning that can happen, that's possible. We have to start looking for solutions where we can bring in that power, bring in that flexibility, bring in that connectivity, make it mobile, make it accessible, make it portable, make it where you're not having to go through 10 different operating systems and all these different things in order to make something from here appear over here and shared over there.
Absolutely. Yep.
I have another question that I'm going back to.
The screens? The battery?
No, not the battery. I'm good on the battery. But no, I was looking at, and now I just lost my train of thought. Dan, man, you always put me in that way. But I was looking at it was Quick IQ, and it was charging smart lockers. Yeah. Now, I know you see, I got back on track. I'm not off the rails. Is that an ideal product space for schools? I know it said water parks, and I was reading on that, but is it valuable to a school district?
Yeah, we first designed it for schools. And it partly in a way to manage their loan device programs. Because that's a huge burden right now on IT directors and on teachers, where if a student comes unprepared, they left their laptop at home, they're disconnected from learning now.
Correct.
All day, right? And so some campuses are huge. They've got to walk 20 minutes across to some IT department to get a loaner, to come back to the classroom. And that system's actually designed where you can have the loaners somewhere in a local spot in the school. They can scan their student ID or the code that they're assigned, their lunch code, whatever it is. It'll open a bay. It'll give them a laptop or a cord, or we've had people put makerspace pieces in there, things they want to track. And the beauty of it is that code or that ID, it's going to tell the administrator of the device who took it out. Calli took this laptop out and it's been 12 hours and Calli didn't put it back. Or it's going to help with some of that reporting.
Forget paper.
Right?
Yeah.
It could help with some of that reporting conference time of, Calli's a really great student, but she's come to school this semester 35 days without her laptop. We really have to improve that. And that's not a feeling or a teacher saying, I think it happens a lot. There's a really concrete portal that's, kind of exposing some of those issues that can present itself. But
so between the Quick IQ Guest, which is more of a smaller one, right?
Yep.
It's for phones and maybe iPads, tablets of that sort. And then you have the IQ Pro, which can do Chromebooks, laptops, all those kind of things. How big? I mean, I'm trying to. The IQ Guest looks like it gets wall mounted.
It can, or it's on a stand. So that's more of a perfect use case for something like this, where people want a place to securely charge their phone for a bit, that they can leave it there and come back. Whereas the Quick IQ, That's more meant for someone who's loaning devices, or you have
Got it.
student teachers or substitute teachers come in, your stuff is in bay number 5, pick it up, use it for the day, put it back at the end of the day. That really wants to track and manage those devices.
And that, the IQ Pro doesn't look like it has the lockable component, right?
It does.
Oh, it does?
Yep.
All right, the wires are out.
Yep.
Compared to the IQ Guest, which looks like, so if it's green, it means it's open.
Correct.
And red, somebody needs to scan their retina,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yep, that's
just
right.
kidding.
Yeah, give a blood sample, open the door.
So, and is that the max capacity that most of them come in, or is they?
No, we can go all the way up to 20.
Oh, that's
And
great.
really, we do custom projects too, so we get a lot of big warehousing companies or manufacturing facilities that will use it for iPads for on the manufacturing floor, for keys, for gas cards, anything that a company really wants to track to make sure people are putting back. A lot of expensive devices go missing. Zebra devices, credit card scanners, all that walks often. And this is a solution that we've implemented really across all industries to help companies manage those devices, and if they go missing, understand where they might have gone
where
missing.
they're track them down. So the kid comes in, I forgot my Chromebook.
Yep.
Great. Scan, bay 5, and take the Chromebook out, close it, and then it automatically knows that kid has taken that.
Yep.
And does that connect to like a central system?
It does.
And so it can be monitored by administration or whomever, wherever.
Exactly.
So it's like some oversight with a teacher, teaching assistants, just saying, okay, scan your badge, but they can't get in without scanning, right?
Right.
So, oh, wow, I'm thinking of how we can make things more efficient. And it's not even
absolutely.
AI related.
That's true.
No, so much, because there's learning loss. If someone has to walk all the way across campus, talk to an administrator, check out a laptop, they've missed 30 minutes of class.
Right.
And if that's a solution that you can put centrally in a few areas of the campus, you eliminate that learning loss for someone who maybe isn't as reliable at bringing their laptop to school, which admittedly probably would have been me if I was in high school during this time.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm just thinking of that, and then having the open bays where kids come in, mine's dead.
Yes.
I can drop it in, have a quick charge while I'm at lunch or have some periods, come back, scan it out, and take my device and go. Because right now, they're going over here, going over there, going to this part, that part to try and find a plug.
We do.
Well, I'm talking about the learning loss. One of the big things, like with the AV stuff, and Calli and I have talked about this a little bit this week as well, is a lot of teachers are not necessarily technologists, and so they want to be able to walk in the room and have something work automatically, and so, part of that is, making sure that you have, standardizations in place, right? But the other part of that is using some of the Liberty technology, which, so Calli and I were talking about this, that, you can scan a QR code. We've got a solution where you can walk in, scan a QR code, and everything that you need to have working in that room works just from a scan of a QR code.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Wait, I need to. Can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so if you needed, for example, if you had 2 displays and you had some cameras and you had, let's say an audio system, for example, in that room, you would walk in with your phone or your Chromebook or whatever, scan that QR code, and through our control system, it actually would automatically make all of that work.
Something's connected on the back end, like with a data point. Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, because you're right. There are varied levels of technological knowledge in the industry nowadays. People who are early adopters, you have the mushy middle, which are still learning a lot of it, and then you have people who are just like, this is the way I've always done it, I'm not going to change, right? Which is not best for students. But if it's something seamless, they've started to adapt. They're not using overhead projectors anymore. Well, but if it's something, well, all right, maybe some are. But
I've been surprised to see some pretty prestigious, both private schools as well as universities still have chalkboards.
Oh, I teach at a university, and I do not have an interactive whiteboard in the room.
You have a projector?
I do.
Are you using the transparencies?
No, but I mean, I'm teaching educational technology and instruction, and I do not have an interactive whiteboard, which irritates me.
Right.
But I'm thinking of that QR code, but it's like, okay, everything turns on, but think about you're sitting there and you're running from a 4th period class to a 5th period class, and you have to go in and get set up, and your students are coming in at the same time.
Yeah.
and teacher before you might not have turned on the device or even logged on to this, and you have to go around, get that set up, get people put in. I can walk in, scan that QR code. As soon as I walk in, everything starts happening around me.
Yep.
And then I can start engaging the students, get ready, walk right up to my board. Because
Exactly.
I have a real USB cable that's connected across the room, and and that touch capability will work, and I'm off to the races.
Right. Exactly.
That's great.
It's cool.
This has been awesome.
It has. I've learned so much.
I got a lot of research to do.
Lots of Googling.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't have to Google. I'm on your sites. I just got to learn. Wow, it's been great.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity
No,
to talk
thank
to you.
you.
So thank you.
Yeah, Kerry, Calli, thank you so much. And we'll be seeing you in about 2 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
2 months.
We'll be
FETC, Orlando.
That's it.
That's
so
it.
we're excited. This is our first time. Have you guys been there before?
Oh, yes.
All right. So
Many times.
tips, tricks. Well, that's right. It's your neighborhood.
Yes.
Almost.
My neighborhood.
Do you drive or do you fly still?
I just drive. It's about an hour from my house.
Oh, do you go home every night?
No.
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 You wanna stay and party.
Yeah, exactly. Stay and party. That's the big tip and trick right there. There's usually some good parties to hang out afterwards. And
You're
yep.
gonna have to email them to us, please. We're the rookies there.
Okay.
You're the rookies here. We're gonna be the rookies there.
Yep.
So, overall, I mean, not to get off task, but with the FETC, it's massive, right?
It's big.
It's big. So it's comparable to ISTE. We've been to ISTE. Have you been to ISTE?
Yep.
Yep.
So would you say bigger, on par? What do you think?
On par.
I was going to say on
maybe
par.
a little smaller.
They're smaller, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's such a fun show. It's the first one of the year. So what
Yeah.
I love about FETC is you see all the new stuff for the year that people are launching, and everybody seems really motivated and excited because it's the first one. So it's a really high energy. There's a lot going on. They put on a good show. I love that about FETC.
And it's all ed tech and all ed tech solutions. I know that's kind of the mantra of it. And and this is my question, I know kind of like ed tech companies are kind of not pushing a ton of products right now because of the holidays. School districts, companies the budgets are closing, right?
Yep.
Especially
They're ramping
for
up.
corporate.
Yeah.
They're ramping up.
Yep.
January, it's hit the ground running.
You're right.
And here are all of our new products and solutions.
Yep.
Quarter one, and maybe here's to come in quarter two. I don't know if they project the whole year, but is that kind of how it goes?
Exactly how it goes.
So it's almost like there's that big tech show, and I'm forgetting the name of it, out in Vegas.
CES.
Yes, is it like that?
It is nowhere near the size of CES.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
No, but I'm
yeah.
saying as far as excitement with all the
Yeah,
new stuff coming out.
I mean, CES is a tough show to beat, right? That's a big
I've never
consumer
been.
show. Well, you should go. 'Cause
It's a bucket
fun.
list.
It's really fun. But I do think it's a very energetic show.
Okay.
I don't know if you have anything to add to that,
no,
but
I agree with it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Although it is, I mean, that crosses everything from the
Consumers
CES stands
all the
for
way to.
consumer
Right.
electronics, right?
And-
So, but then a lot of the commercial or corporate products, education products have started to come into there. The other big one to keep an eye out for this year is InfoComm, which is
Yep.
back in Orlando again.
When's
and
that?
It's in June in Orlando, and it is the CES for the AV industry, and I mean it is ginormous.
You
I'm
just need
so
to get
in
that
trouble.
house in Florida. You're going to be down there all the time.
So in trouble. Anyways,
It's a fun show.
I'm a
Yeah.
tech geek, obviously. So,
well,
all
that's
right.
a great show to go to then, because that has like all of the big tech people.
Yep.
And we stopped exhibiting there. We used to always bring our AV furniture, and we stopped exhibiting the year we were next to a giant LED
Like that thing?
octopus.
Oh,
No.
an octopus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting in this booth with some AV carts and some charging carts, staring at this octopus. I'm like, I think we're too adjacent for this show at this point.
Yep.
But it's
Fair.
a very cool show.
Very cool.
Very
And
cool.
You can always follow all these shows on Twitter, because I'm going to have to live vicariously through the World Wide Web, because I won't
Okay.
be able to go. But, FETC, I'm definitely excited about.
Great.
Look
Kerry,
forward to seeing you there.
Yes. Kerry, Calli, thank you
Thank
so
you so much.
much.
Thank
This
you,
has
guys.
been
Thank you.
so enlightening. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Tech Hard, Work Smart, Live in Adventure.
Find Andrew on all socials at A Nicola Tech and Dan at WCSD Tech DR.